morphology. Okay. Now, what is morphology? In your third sem, you had done phonology. And what was phonology? Study of sounds. Okay. And there is Anjali Kulshresht. Okay. And now what is morphology? Morphology is a study of, it's a again a branch of linguistics, you can say. It's a branch of linguistics that describes or that tells you about how words are formed, like phonemes, that is sounds, morphs, they are the words. Earlier it was thought that words are the smallest unit of language, right? And then after researches, after deeper studies, it is realized that words are not the smallest unit of language, it is morphs. So morphology, it is a branch of linguistics, and that does this scientific study of words and how these words are formed, how these words are composed, right? That is what is morphology. And then from morphology comes the word morpheme. Morpheme, what is morpheme? It is the smallest unit of language that has some meaning. Kiran Upadhyay. Okay. That has some meaning. That is, or not only meaning, it has some relevance, you can say. Okay. So that is what is morpheme. Now let me begin with the presentation straightforward, and that is the best thing that we have in our online classes, this freedom. Okay. Soon our college will have smart classes, and then in classes also we can have presentations and all, but then by that time maybe you would have passed your अच्छा सारी slides आ रही होंगी. Again there's a just stop, let me stop presenting, just wait, just give me a time. बस शुरू करने में थोड़ा सा मुझे टाइम लगता है, otherwise everything is okay. Yeah. You can see now. It's visible to you, na?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
अभी नहीं आया?
No, ma'am.
Now?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
okay, we begin now. Morphology. What is morphology? It is a branch of linguistics. What are morphemes? Morpheme is the smallest or minimal unit of any word that has some meaning or some relevance. This is what we have talked about so far. Okay. Now see here. What is language? While doing Shishor also we did what is language. We said language is a system. Okay, so what kind of system? That relates sound with the meaning, sound image and the concept. This is what Shishor had said in Nature of the Linguistic Sign, right? So here again, yeah, so language is a system that relates sound with meaning. The minimal sound unit of any language is called phoneme, right? this we had done in our third sem, phonology. Phonology is a study of the smallest minimal sound unit. It may not have any meaning. Any sound that is used in a word or in a language, that is phoneme. Now these phonemes, when they combine together, they form morphemes and words. Cat. Okay. Cat. How many phonemes does this word have? Each sound is counted as phoneme. So we are not going to this because we have already done it. Now when these different phonemes they combine together, they form a word, cat. And you add one more phoneme to it, cats. That is again a morpheme. Cat is one morpheme and s is another morpheme, and it forms one word, cats. Cats is one word. Cat is one word, cats is one word, but cats has one more morpheme added to it and it forms cats. Just don't get confused now, we are going further. So the phoneme, what is phoneme? It is the smallest unit or sound of the language which serves to distinguish words from one another. Right? For example, this is the example that I have given, bat. Right? So in bat, you can, these have three phonemes, right? So अब इसमें क्या करोगे? इसमें एक phoneme को आपने change कर दिया. A is replaced by a is replaced by a. Bat, a is replaced by but, a. Right? So a and a, they are replaced. And so what happens? Two different words are formed. Right? Now cat has three phonemes. How many phonemes? Just a quick revision of it. Cat, three phonemes. Cream, cream. Now cream has four phonemes. Knock, knock, three phonemes. Shadow, right, four phonemes. So a word is composed of phonemes. Now these phonemes, they combine to form what? Morphemes and words. Now cat is one morpheme. One word, one morpheme. But cats is two morpheme, one word. Right? It becomes clear as we go further. Morpheme. Morpheme is a minimal, सबसे छोटी, meaningful, should have some meaning, unit in the grammatical system of a word. Now this meaningful means it could be having some dictionary meaning, or it may be fulfilling some grammatical purpose, grammatical function. So morpheme is a minimal, meaningful. By meaningful we mean dictionary meaning or grammatical function in the grammatical system of language. The morphemes and the words in varying combination produce phrases. Black cat. Man in black, the essay that you study. So that is a phrase. Okay, so these words or morphemes, they combine together, they form phrases. Then these phrases may combine to form sentence clauses, sentences. In this way, the system of language works. Language is a system. So how does the system, language system work? System of the language works by the correct combinations of phonemes, morphemes, words, phrases, clauses, in this way. Okay. So the morphemes and words in varying combinations produce phrases, clauses, and sentences. So morpheme is the smallest, minimal, smallest linguistic part of a word. वर्ड के अंदर मॉर्फीम होता है, मॉर्फीम के अंदर फनीम्स होते हैं. तो a morpheme is the smallest linguistic part of a word that can have a meaning. That can have means it can have a dictionary meaning, but then it can have other meaning also, other significance also, some grammatical function. Okay. In other words, it is the smallest meaningful part of a word. So what are the examples of morpheme? Just hold on for a second. Yeah. So example of morpheme would be, see, this is a one word, unbreakable. Unbreakable, which is the main word here, break. To break, we attach able, breakable. Breakable means जो चीज टूट सकती है. And when we add one more this collection of phonemes, un, it becomes unbreakable. See how many phonemes are there in this word, how many morphemes are there in this word, right? So there you see that there are three morphemes: break, able, and un. So earlier, as I told you, that the words were considered to be the smallest grammatical unit. But then it is found that words are not the smallest grammatical unit. Take another example, unpredictable. Now again, this also has three parts: predict, able, and un. So these three segments, these three parts of the verb, of the word, they are morphemes. Un is a morpheme, predict is a morpheme, and able is a morpheme. Now the word that has a dictionary meaning, that word is that morpheme is called free morpheme. In a word, the morpheme that has a dictionary meaning, you can find the meaning of that word, of that morpheme, that is called free morpheme. And the morphemes that are attached to that word is bound morpheme. If unpredictable is one word, it has three morphemes, of which predict, which has dictionary meaning, is a free morpheme, and un and able, which are attached to it, they are bound morphemes. So when you describe this word unpredictable, you will say that unpredictable, this word unpredictable has three morphemes. It has one, it has three morphemes, and one morpheme is a free morpheme, and there are two bound morphemes in this word. Predict is a free morpheme, un and able are bound morphemes. Okay, is this clear so far?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So now what is morphology? Just an example, you saw that in morphology what kind of things we study. So morphology is a branch of linguistics concerned with the scientific study of words and their formation and composition, how words are formed, how they are composed. When we study this, and this study is scientific, that means it is objective, it is factual, then that kind of scientific study of language is morphology. Morpheme, as described so far, it is a minimal, meaningful unit of language that has grammatical relevance. Difference between the word and morpheme, that morpheme may have independent meaning like predict, break, they have independent meaning. They may not have independent meaning. The bound morphemes, they do not have independent meaning. Able, un, un has got no independent meaning. Child, childish. The word child has one morpheme. Okay, childish. Childish is one word, but it has two morphemes, child and ish. Child has independent meaning, but ish does not have independent meaning. Right? Struggling. Struggling word is a single word. In this word struggling, you have two morphemes. Struggle has independent meaning. Ing does not have independent meaning. So struggle is a free morpheme. Ing is a bound morpheme. Cats. Cats has two morphemes, cat and s. First part, cat, has independent meaning. So it is free morpheme. S, the second part, has no independent meaning. So it is a bound morpheme. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Right. So this is the way to explain morphology. Again, study of morphemic structures. We said that morphology is, yeah, morphology is a branch of linguistics concerned with the scientific study of words and their formation and composition, right? Morphology is a study of morphemic structure. When you know the meaning of morpheme, then you can say that what are we doing exactly in morphology? We are studying morphemic structures. We are studying morphemes. It shows the word structure in terms of classes of morphemes. How words are formed, like how a noun can be changed into verb. Like we said that uh, there is great struggle. So struggle becomes noun. Okay, I am struggling. It becomes verb. So the word structure, you change the word structure, class of the word can also change. So again, this is the morphological analysis of this word. If you do, like singing, it is not work, there's a misprint here, it is word. Okay, a morphological analysis of a word like singing. See how I just committed a mistake of writing WORK. This is a, what kind of mistake is it? In place of WORD, I wrote WORK. This is a phoneme that I wrote wrong. Understand? Phoneme independently has no meaning, but when it is added here to form a word, so this mistake of mine of one phoneme changed the meaning of the word. It is actually word, but I didn't write D. That is the phonemic mistake I did. And in place of D, I wrote K. In place of D, it is K. Okay. If I had written word, then the phoneme that used was D. But I mistakenly have written work. K. So this is a mistake that I did. Right? So in this way you analyze. So a morphological analysis of a word like singing would show that it is made up of two classes of morpheme. Sing has independent meaning, so it is free morpheme. Ing has no independent meaning, so it is bound morpheme. So again, repetition that a morpheme, to make you remember this, that a morpheme is the smallest unit of form that has meaning. If the phoneme denotes the unit of sound in a word, like ऊपर work a word, एक फनीम गड़बड़ था, मीनिंग अलग हो गई, तो उसने साउंड बताया. मॉर्फीम क्या बताता है? इट डिनोट्स द यूनिट ऑफ इट्स स्ट्रक्चर. Okay, the word structure is formed by morphemes, right? So as Ashore said that there is always structure, everywhere there is a structure. So word also has a structure. The constituent parts of the structure, when they form a structure, then it gives a meaning. Here also when morphs, they are arranged in a particular way, it gives meaning, it forms a word that becomes meaningful. जैसे सिंगिंग में आप ing पहले लगा देते और sing लगा देते तो it would have been wrong word. There is no such word like ing, sing. But when sing के आगे आप ing morpheme लगाते हैं, जो morpheme एक sequence में लगा हुआ है, अगर ये ing morpheme sing से पहले लग जाएगा, it has got no meaning, right? Okay, so the morpheme denotes the unit of its structure. Now, so far you know that there are two types of morphemes. They are free morpheme and bound morpheme. Free morpheme has meaning. Okay. And so this is why it is also called lexical morpheme. Lexical because it is a word found in dictionary. Okay, it has content. It has got meaning. Concrete meaning, right? And we can give a definition for it. What is sing? You can define what is sing. What is run? You can define what is run. What is eat? You can define what is eat. You cannot define in dictionary, you will not get ing, eating. Eat has a lexical meaning, but ing does not have a dictionary meaning. So such morphemes which do not have dictionary meaning and they get meaning only when they are attached to lexical morpheme, such morphemes are called bound morpheme. बंधे हुए हैं वो किसी से, उसको अलग कर दो तो उसका कोई मतलब नहीं है. So free morpheme or lexical morpheme, and then there is bound morpheme. They are further divided into classes. We shall discuss them later, but at present this is enough. Lexical or free and bound. Now here see. Classification of morphemes. There can be derivational morpheme or grammatical morpheme. कोई चीज कहीं से derive होती है, derivational or lexical, that has dictionary meaning, and grammatical. Then in lexical again you have two. एक तो है root word, singing, sing, root, so that is free morpheme. And then you can attach some affixes, and affixes means something before or the root morpheme or something after the root morpheme. When you attach something before the root morpheme, then it becomes prefix. When you attach something after the root morpheme, it becomes suffix. Beauty, beautiful. Beauty is a root word. It is a free morpheme. Then beautiful, full is attached. So it becomes, full is a suffix. So that is a lexical morpheme. Right? Now we are going into further classification. So morpheme, lexical morpheme or derivational morpheme and grammatical morpheme, root morpheme or free morpheme, and then you can add affixes to root morpheme or free morphemes. Affixes may be like, they may be prefix or they may be suffix. So far clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am.
Yes,
All
ma'am.
of you, na? If there
Yes,
is
ma'am.
any slightest
Yes.
confusion, you can ask. No. Okay. Now again you get some more words. Affixes, you know, they can be suffix or prefix. Root, you know, root from where it begins. Now you have stem also. So when a bound morpheme, when attached to a form, is called affix. Either it can be suffix or prefix. We will just call it affix. The form to which the affix is attached is stem. Right? The stem which is incapable of further division is called root. Singing. Singing. Sing is the root. Ing is the affix which is exactly suffix attached to it. Unbreakable. Break is a root. Breakable becomes the stem, to which you can add affix un. So it becomes unbreakable. Root is something which cannot be further divided. Stem is something which can be divided, on to which some affix is attached. Okay, so these three terms, affixes, stem and roots. A word is made up of, a word can be made up of, it may be made up of affixes, stems and roots. Affixes may be either prefix or suffix. Stem is where some affix is attached. And roots, root is something which cannot be further divided. If it is further divided, it will not have any meaning. Actually, it is just some phonemes. Sing. Sing, if you divide it like C, SI and then NG, now C and Ng, it doesn't have any meaning. So it is not a root. Sing is a root. Run is a root. Okay, so just see this structure, how this word unreliability, how can we divide this word unreliability, right? See, rely on someone, depend on someone. Okay, we say that I can rely on, she is so sincere, I can rely on this for this work. Rely means we can depend on, we can trust that person. सो रिलाई वर्ड के आगे पीछे कितना सब कुछ लिखा जा सकता है और नए नए वर्ड्स फॉर्म कर सकते हैं. रिलायबल एक वर्ड बन जाएगा, वाई हट करके आई रिप्लेस हो जाएगा और एबल के साथ जुड़ जाएगा. आप सबसे नीचे से देखना शुरू करो. ये रिलाई लिखा है बेस वर्ड, डिपेंड ऑन with full trust or confidence, that is the meaning of this word. So this is the base word, this is the root word, rely. Now what happens to this word rely? You add a suffix able. Okay, so now rely is actually a verb. I can rely on you. It is a verb. कौन सा वर्ड क्लास है rely? Verb. अब इस वर्ब को आप एडजेक्टिव कैसे बना सकते हैं? एक सफिक्स आप ऐड कर देते हैं able and it becomes reliable. RELIABLE reliable. Y को रिप्लेस कर दिया है I से. तो जो ये रूट वर्ड था rely, जो रूट मॉर्फीम था, एक मॉर्फीम है ये जिसका मीनिंग है, तो इसलिए ये वर्ड है rely. इसमें आपने able ऐड कर दिया suffix. So what happens? Verb becomes adjective. She is a reliable person. What kind of person she is? What is her quality? The quality is that she is reliable. Adjectives are qualities that tell the quality of the noun. So I can rely on you. Rely is a verb. You are a reliable person. It tells your quality, so it becomes adjective. So by adding a suffix to the root word rely, it becomes reliable. And this word reliable has got two morphemes, right? Reliable, rely and able, there are two morphemes in it, right? And the word class is changed. From verb, it becomes adjective. Now again, if you want to tell some quality, okay, then it becomes reliability. Reliability. Reliability, again, it becomes noun. Her reliability cannot be questioned. What cannot be questioned? What के answers सारे noun होते हैं. तो what cannot be questioned? Her reliability cannot be questioned. तो अब आपने क्या किया? एक तो able लगाया, फिर आपने t लगा दिया. तो अब ये एक वर्ड बन गया reliability, which has got 3 morphemes. Okay. So now what you will say, that the root word is rely. Okay. और reliability, ये इसको हम जब ट्री डायग्राम बनाना सीखेंगे तब देखेंगे कि why it is called stem. स्टेम में ब्रांचेस लगती चली जाती हैं, उसको आप बिल्कुल अलग 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 करके सबसे मिनिमल यूनिट्स बनाते हैं तो वो मॉर्फीम्स बनते हैं. तो किस तरह से वर्ड्स का फॉर्मेशन होता है, दिस वी शैल सी इन आवर नेक्स्ट क्लास, राइट. तो अब इसके आगे आपने एक प्रीफिक्स लगा दिया. ओके, सो नाउ व्हाट इट विल बिकम? इट विल बिकम अनरिलायबिलिटी. अब रिलायबिलिटी की जो भी मीनिंग थी वो ऑपोजिट हो गई क्योंकि अन ऐड हो गया. इट इज अ नेगेटिव वर्ड अन. तो जो भी रिलायबल, रिलायबिलिटी, अनरिलायबल भी एक वर्ड होता है. ओके, अनरिलायबल. अब इस आपने अनरिलायबल में इटी ज्वाइन करके उसको अनरिलायबिलिटी भी बना दिया. Okay, so this one word has got 4 morphemes that have of these 4 morphemes, 2 are suffixes and 1 is prefix, or you may say that there is 1 free morpheme and there are 3 bound morphemes. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Is it getting complicated? Huh.
Ma'am, as you said, in a word unpredictable, there are 3 morphemes and predict is free morpheme.
May I know who's speaking? I can't see you. Who's speaking?
Mummy.
Who is there in lobby? There's one person in lobby also. अच्छा किरण, me से काम नहीं चलता ना, नाम बताना पड़ता है. Okay, Kiran, I just saw your hand raised. Yes, just say. हाँ.
Ma'am, as you said, in word unpredictable, predict is a free morpheme and there are 3 morphemes, unpredict and able. Ma'am,
Yes.
in that you said कि un and able are bound morphemes.
Yes.
Ma'am, if the only word able, if we use only word able, then what it will be, it will be free morpheme or bound morpheme?
Okay. अच्छा, you know what happened? You are thinking that able is a word. Able कहते हैं ना कि I am able to do this. है ना?
Yes, ma'am.
So no, it is a bound morpheme because in this case, in this word that we are forming, unpredictable. So this is getting its meaning from this word predictable. You said un को नहीं लगा रहे हैं अभी. Predictable में predict की meaning able लगने से उसका form change हो रहा है. I can predict this. I can predict it means or predict it. Predict is verb. Okay, this is predictable. Now this becomes adjective. So by adding this suffix here, able is a suffix, and by adding this suffix to the free morpheme, that free morpheme को जब हम एबल नाम का सफिक्स डाल देंगे इसमें, तो उसकी मीनिंग क्या हो जा रही है कि फ्रॉम वर्ब इट बिकम्स एडजेक्टिव. सो इट इज अ बाउंड मॉर्फेम हियर, राइट
मैम? इन द वर्ड प्रेडिक्टेबल ना?
हाँ, प्रेडिक्टेबल.
मैम अगर केवल हम एबल की बात करें तो
then able will become free. अगर आप कहेंगे, उसका एग्जांपल देती हूँ, able and ability. able here is a free morpheme. ठीक है, उसमें आपने एक सफिक्स डाल दिया है इटी, right? So when you add ity to it, then it becomes a bond. Ity is a bound morpheme. Able is a free morpheme there, and ity becomes bound morpheme.
Okay, ma'am. Now it is clear.
Okay, able, ability, और ऐसे क्या वर्ड्स बन सकते हैं? सोचो आप able से. Capable, capability.
Yes.
Right? This.
Yes, ma'am. Now it is
Any
clear.
other doubt? It's clear now?
Yes, ma'am.
Any other doubt?
No, ma'am.
Okay then. So we close here. Our time is up. 10:45 हो रहे हैं. And in our next class we shall move further. This paper is really very interesting. So keep exploring. And it's better if you find more examples and you just divide it into parts, break it into, and see what is free morpheme and what is bound morpheme. है ना, ये exercise कर सकते हो आप कल तक, and then tomorrow we will continue. Okay? Okay, then have a nice day.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Most welcome.
Thank you, ma'am.
Most welcome.
Thank you, ma'am.